Hello ladies, so I am here to talk to you about those genitourinary issues. I popped a post on a few days ago asking what you thought of the Tenor Lady adverts. Also gave you kind of my feeling about it. And so now it's time to expand on what we can actually do to help to improve the situation for ourselves. And it's not all about the pelvic floor muscles. I will be doing a video showing you how to engage with that pelvic floor because it is important, and sharing some more information about that. But I think it is really important that we understand there are lots of other things that we can actually do to help ourselves. So unfortunately, these issues are something that many of us have to deal with. In fact, around 50% of women actually have genitourinary issues. One thing that I will say is that if you feel that these issues are really significant, then I would suggest going and seeing a medical professional, perhaps your doctor, or maybe someone, a physio, who actually specialises in this area. They are out there, and they can actually be really, really great because they can help you to understand what the problem is. So maybe if you've got a prolapse, and they can help you to understand what you can do with that and how to go about managing your life with that prolapse, and possibly without the need for surgery, which is kind of where a lot of sort of your doctors may kind of encourage you to head, is down at the route of surgery. And from what I understand from the physios that I've spoken to, and that I've done my training with, is that actually sometimes you're just moving the problem. So if you have an operation on a prolapse, you may still end up with a prolapse. It just kind of may be slightly in a different position. So it's definitely worth investigating. Having said that, let's carry on. So you'll notice actually I'm doing, well, you may not, but I'm actually doing my video stood up. This is since I had my back injury. So I will actually do a post about that as well, because that's really quite significant in terms of us as we get older. But for now, let's not get sidetracked too much. So we may experience things like urgency in needing to go to the toilet. It's like, oh my God, I've got to go and I've got to go now. Sometimes you may find that you might not even make it to the toilet because things are that bad. You may find that you're suffering more UTIs, and that you may feel really dry, really irritated, that you're having to go to the toilet more often than usual, that you're getting up multiple times in the middle of the night, and there's kind of like not necessarily a UTI, but kind of I don't know, a little bit of an uncomfortable sensation that when you actually go to the loo, you might find that there isn't actually that much there, but you kind of felt like you really needed to go, but it's not burning, it's not a UTI. So these are all things that we can be facing, and with these ads and kind of the acceptance of menopause and it not being hidden under the carpet anymore, it's becoming as though it's normal and it's just something that we have to deal with. However, we don't. We genuinely don't. Childbirth can have a lot to do with this sort of issue, but again, even that can be helped. So the first thing I'm going to speak to you about is collagen, and how important it is to make sure that your collagen levels are as high as they possibly can be. Collagen drops off as we get older. From being about age 30, collagen really starts to deplete, and it's collagen that helps to keep the muscle and skin tissues kind of as they should be, kind of elastic and not dry. So we need to make sure that we are helping ourselves as much as possible in terms of collagen. So significantly, we need to be, I'm just checking my notes, I don't want to leave anything out, I don't want to forget anything for you. So When we're speaking about collagen, we need to think in terms, firstly, of protein-rich foods. So collagen is basically an amino acid. So we need to make sure that we're getting protein-rich foods that are specifically high in collagen. So things like bone broth, they can be really, really good. Chicken, especially the skin, which probably throughout most of your life you've kind of thought, I need to take the skin off because of the fat content. We need the skin for that collagen. And the cartilage as well from the chicken is really important. But you would kind of get access to that in a bone broth. If you've got a really good bone broth, that would have been boiled up with all the cartilage. So, when you go into your butchers and see chicken feet and things like that, actually might be a good idea to get them and kind of cook up a broth. Egg whites, I would always encourage having eggs as a whole, but it's specifically the white that is going to help in this instance. Fish and shellfish, again, the skin from the fish. I have a fishmonger that comes around here, and he actually told me that he has a customer who buys fish skin from him because her skin was her muscles were suffering, and she wanted the fish skin for the collagen, and apparently it's made a big difference. So fish and shellfish. Dairy, if you're not intolerant to it, obviously, any of these things that don't work for you, we have to work around them. We're not saying you have to have this, it's just that these are the things that provide the things we need. So, good quality dairy as well, the kind of best quality that you can get, and with your meat as well. So those are the foods that contain the collagen. They will boost your collagen. So then we're going to talk about vitamin C rich foods, because vitamin C actually helps your body to synthesize collagen. So it helps us to make it. So we're not just putting it in, we're actually making it ourselves. So things like citrus fruits, berries, bell peppers, kiwi, pineapple, mango, and lots of leafy greens. All these are going to help with that collagen synthesis. Copper and zinc rich foods as well. These again, these actually support collagen production, and they also support the skin structure as well. So things like nuts and seeds, shellfish, legumes, and whole grains, all really important for this collagen synthesis in terms of their content of copper and zinc. Antioxidants. So you'll get, vitamin C is a fantastic antioxidant. So if you're putting the berries in and things that we spoke about a minute ago, then you're getting antioxidants. And this helps basically to protect everything. So it stops that oxidative stress and stops things breaking down, and helps to prevent kind of the chronic inflammation that can cause the breakdown of basically everything in our bodies. So things like tomatoes, berries, green tea, dark chocolate, that's my favourite, and really colourful vegetables. So I used to say this in my group all the time. You'll find that we kind of come back to the same basic things most of the time that are actually going to help us in perimenopause. Where the tricky bit comes in is finding out kind of what really works for you, and managing around any gut disruption issues that you may have, and energy issues and that kind of thing. So it's about knowing what we can use and putting together a plan that works for ourselves. So experimenting with these foods. And I've got to say that kind of in terms of collagen, if you start eating all these foods, it's not one of those things that you are going to notice kind of quickly that things have improved, but it will be there in the background helping you. It's kind of one of those building blocks that we need to be focused on. And then healthy fats. So avocado, olive oil, fatty fish, nuts and seeds. So these basically help with the support of the skin barrier. So they help to keep the skin nice and soft and supple as it should be, but also help with nutrient absorption. So all these things that we're eating, we need those to be absorbed properly, and those healthy fats can help us to do that. The healthy fats also help to reduce that chronic inflammation as well. So again, we're helping our body not to be in a state of wanting to break everything down, which is what happens when we're in chronic inflammation. And just on that little topic as well, again, it's about, as much as possible eating natural foods and staying away from those highly processed foods that have got additives and ingredients in that our bodies really don't understand. They don't know how to use them, and then effectively that causes things like gut disruption, inflammation. Sugary foods as well, like foods high in sugar, not fruit. We're not talking about fruit here. We are talking about processed foods high in sugar. They will also contribute towards inflammation. So there's also collagen supplements. I guess, as with anything, nobody knows really whether or not they're that helpful. You've got one side that says yes, they really are and we should be taking them, another side that says no. I personally do take a multi-collagen supplement, multi-collagen because it helps with skin, but also because it helps with all the other tissues as well, which is what we're kind of focused on here. So I do take a collagen supplement. You could, look into a collagen that comes from a bone broth. There are a couple of companies that are out there that are doing that. I am going to look at making my own bone broth as well. See if that's kind of palatable. So the other one that seems to be gaining popularity is something called moringa, and in certain schools that is gaining popularity in terms of its ability to help us to produce collagen, because that effectively, it's always better to try and support your own synthesis than it is to add in a supplement of the thing itself, if that makes sense. Foods are different because they kind of go in and your body's assimilating them. A supplement can be slightly different in terms of the way it works in our body. So it's always best to try and support the production of our own. And moringa is coming out at the moment, certainly in a number of fields, as being pretty helpful. For many things in menopause, actually, not just collagen production, but it is one that that you might want to consider. I have got some. I keep forgetting to take it. I think it's good. It's just in a cupboard. It's in my cupboard, and I think I forget to take it. I take my collagen in the morning with my coffee because it's easy, and then sometimes if I get busy doing other things, then the moringa kind of gets put on the back burner. So I need to put something in place to help me remember to take it. So yeah, I think basically in terms of those foods, it's again about variety, about picking the ones that work for you. And in terms of the collagen containing proteins, you really are mainly looking at the sources from animals. You're looking at sources from animal protein more than vegan. There are vegan collagen supplements out on the market. These are basically high in antioxidants, which are there, as we said, to kind of help your own synthesis. So it's about looking at the broad picture, deciding what works for you, and putting a little bit more of those into your diet, getting a really good variety and putting a little bit more of those foods into your diet. So that is day one of helping ourselves where these genitourinary issues are concerned. And I will be back with another video in a couple of days' time with something else that we can use to help ourselves. If you've got any questions at all, please pop them into the group or send me a message and I will send you a reply. always welcome questions, and if I don't know the answer, I will go away and get some answers for you. Okay, so I'll see you later, ladies. Take care. Bye bye.